Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, which would be me. Please step into my time machine as I take you back to February 2017 and the rollout of Pathways, Toastmasters' new online educational system. As I encounter the program for the first time, all I'm thinking is, it's the Winchester Mystery House. You know what I'm talking about? Raise your hand. Yeah. Hallways that go nowhere, steps that lead to nothing, doors that when you open them, you hit a brick wall. It's kind of a crazy system. But I got inside and I reached three boxes, three main choices. One of them said, navigator. One of them said, choose your path. And the middle one said, something like access pathways through Basecamp. Navigator, what does that mean? It sounds like a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh wait, that was Aviator. Choose your path. Well, that's kind of an existential question. I chose the middle path, because that's what the Buddha would do. Once I got inside, there were 5 boxes. And they were mostly superfluous, it seemed to me. There was one that said something about your transcript. There was one that said something about speeches. So I chose one. There was another one that said navigating Basecamp. I chose that, and there were 6 more boxes. I have not seen this many boxes since I moved out of home. So I then went back and I chose my transcript, and I discovered that there's really only 2 or 3 boxes or selections in Pathways that are even important. All the rest are like your appendix. They're unnecessary, you better not touch it, and let's hope it doesn't burst. But enough about the negatives. I like to think of Pathways as kind of like your first kiss. It's a little bit sloppy, it's a little bit messy, but it gets better with practice, and it's worth the effort. Pathways, can we all agree that it has a little bit of a difficult interface? Yes? However, there are things that I do like very much about Pathways. So let me explain them, and there are 5 different factors. Number 1, customization. With the old system, the manual system, you had to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 10, and that was your choice. In Pathways, you have 10 different paths that can suit your own interests. If you're interested in leadership, you can choose that. If you're interested in planning, you can choose that. Or teamwork, or speechcraft. 10 different choices. And once you're inside the system, there are many different electives. So you get to choose how you want this experience to go for you, which I think is fantastic. Number 2 is you earn awards faster. In the old system, you earn an award after 10 projects. In the new system, after level 1, you earn an award. So after 5 projects, you've got yourself your first recognition award. Level number 2 is only 3 projects, so you've earned another award, which is great not only for you, but it's also good for your club, and it cascades all the way up from area to division to district. Great to earn awards. Number 3, you are able to evaluate sooner. Now for some of you veterans, how many projects did you have to do in the old system before you earned the right to be an evaluator? 3? I thought 5? I've heard 6, actually.
Right.
6 projects before you get to be an evaluator. In Pathways, you are evaluating on your 4th project. That means after 3 projects, you now have the right to evaluate. Now, of course, you're not going to be an evaluator like the most experienced people, but you get a chance to jump in and evaluate earlier, which I think is pretty cool. Number 4, Pathways is more or less paperless. It's not completely. You do print out evaluations, but unlike the old system, you don't have to keep track of a manual and all of your evaluations in the manual, all that paper. Here, you print out an evaluation, you upload it to the system, and it's in the system, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. It's paperless, and I think that's pretty nice. And number 5, Pathways has videos for the younger generation, but also for the older generation. You actually can observe people practicing these best practices by video, which I think is pretty neat. There also is some quizzes. I think there's probably going to be even more gamification in the future. And so I think it's pretty interesting, and it's much more interactive. Is Pathways perfect? Of course not. I invite you to think of it like this. A 1973 Motorola cordless cell phone. Raise your hand if you had one of these babies. There's one right there. This was state of the art in 1973 because it was the first iteration. Now, of course, we've gone on. We have cell phones. Someday they'll probably be a chip in your head. But this was the first iteration. And it was a great improvement over the previous state of the art, which was a rotary phone or a pay phone. I think Pathways will get there. It's not there yet. It's a first iteration. It's a cordless phone from 1973, but I'm looking forward to watching it reach the future and get up to speed with what we have right now in the current technology. So I say, give it a chance. Unlock the door and enter this crazy labyrinth, this Winchester mystery house, because you never know what you're going to find. For every dead end, you may discover a treasure. You may find your appendix, or you may even discover your first kiss. Mr. Toastmaster.
All right.